gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Whip Podcast. My name is Elliot. I've tried to record this episode 3 times, but I'm not great with cameras. First things first, we've had a sponsor come join the show. Crack Designs have jumped on board and supplied us. They're a new clothing company. Really excited to jump on board with them. Obviously, we're still, a young podcast, still growing, still trying to make it. They're a young clothing design brand. Their clothes are absolute fire. These are such good quality, and we're really happy to have them on board. Obviously, KO's helped us out a lot as well. But yeah, Crack Designs will be coming on board with us for the future. So go buy some of their stuff if you're watching this. Christmas is here. For boyfriend, girlfriend. We'd really appreciate it. It'll really help us. Just gonna do a UFC episode today. Probably run through it. As you can see, Zach's not here. It's just me riding solo, hence why the terrible angle in the camera. I don't have the mic stand, so we're just going to make do with what we've got. If you prefer to just go to Spotify, go do that. Completely understandable. Just a UFC 295 review. Obviously, I'm going to do the last 3 fights. So Mackenzie Dern versus Jessica Andrade. I had Mackenzie Dern as my pick. I thought, her grappling's been good. She's been in pretty good form with her fights, but she got absolutely pumped. It wasn't anywhere near close. Like, she landed some shots, but she just doesn't have the power that Andrade does. Surprised at Mackenzie's lack of ability to be able to take down. Was actually quite surprising. But as I said, Andrade's just way too good. I really hope this is focused. Andrade's just way too good, way too much of a heavy hitter. You could really tell in the exchanges that she was dominating Mackenzie and obviously got the TKO stopped by the ref. But, Mackenzie was about to be out. She got absolutely pumped. So I was none for 3 with that one. And then we get to the second fight, which was Aspinall versus Pavlovich. Obviously, it was meant to be Jones and Stipe as the main event, but Jones tore his pec. I actually think he'll retire. He'll be 12 months out. He's 36. It's pretty hard to come back from that kind of injury, having 12 months off. Or he might do the Stipe fight and retire. I don't think he'll fight Aspinall. Don't think he wants to fight Aspinall. I'd still give Jones the victory, but why risk your legacy, when you're that old? So, yeah, I actually picked Pavlovich for this one, and he got flatlined. Bad KO, Aspinall. I thought Aspinall, he was out for a while with an ACL, obviously came back and, had one fight in London, but I just thought he'd have a bit of ring rust. He was also only on 17 days' notice, and Pavlovich was the backup for Jones and Stipe the whole fight, which I don't get why Stipe wouldn't just fight Pavlovich, but anyway, didn't matter anyway. So, obviously, Aspinall, again, Pavlovich pressuring just like he did against Bam Bam when he knocked Bam Bam out inside a minute, but Aspinall wore it, got hit with some heavy shots. There was a shot where I was like, wow, how did he not at least get knocked down? And then Pavlovich pressuring, but Aspinall with the karate stance just so much quicker and managed to clip him, and it was just one punch KO. It was crazy. It was a good exchange. The UFC's been kind of average this year. I will say, I obviously love the UFC, but 2022 was just crazy. We had so many big fights. So this year, has been not as great. But, this card was actually pretty decent, and it was good to see a bit of a knockout in the heavyweights. There's not a heap of heavyweight fights that are great. Same with the light heavyweight, which we're about to get to. But, this card was good for the big boys. Had a couple of big fights, brought some interest back to the division, which is good. Aspinall wants the John Jones fight. I don't think he'll get it. So I think he'll become, the rounded champion. Then we get to the light heavyweights, which was Alex Pereira versus Yuri, the samurai, versus the warrior, the Amazonian warrior. I had Pereira in this one, so I got this one right. He won by TKO again. Referee jumped in, stopped it. But again, opening rounds, Yuri kind of came out and did have the pressure on him, took him down. Pereira doesn't really have any wrestling, but he's just so big, it's hard to kind of move around on him and, get into decent positions. He's pretty good defensively on the ground, but I don't know whether that's skill or just how big he is, but he does train with Glover. Again, apologies for the close camera, not the best angle, but we've got to make do. So yeah, Yuri came out. Yuri's got that awkward style where he kind of, bit like Dominic Cruz in a way, not exactly the same obviously, but just an awkward style, very front facing. So he was walking in, pressuring him, and Pereira just goes right hook, left hook. He loves those little hooks when the opponent gets into the pocket. Just 1-2 punch, drops him. Yuri kind of went into a downward dog and tried to cover him, kind of like Colby did against Usman. But I think the shot was too heavy and the ref saw it stopped. I thought it was a bit of an early stoppage, first glance. You know, I'd obviously have to go back and look at it, and I have done. I still think it was a bit early, but to Yuri's credit, you know, he came out and said that it wasn't an early stoppage, and he's ultimately the one in there, and he knows what's going on. So, yeah, he came out and basically said it wasn't early, and he was basically out. So, full respect to him. Obviously, Pereira at the end of the fight calls out Adesanya, which was funny. He doesn't speak any English and says, "Come to daddy," which was hilarious, considering Izzy in his YouTube videos was not mocking him, but kind of saying he wish he spoke English and stuff. And then Pereira says that. It was hilarious. I don't think Izzy comes back for that fight, but I do think Izzy will come back if Drakus beats Strickland, which obviously I'm going for Strickland. I can't stand Drakus, but I think Izzy may come back for that fight, but I don't think he comes back to fight Pereira at light heavyweight. You know, he's knocked him out. I think you should leave it as that. Pereira's so much bigger than him. I can't see Izzy doing too much there. So I think Pereira will have to fight Jamahal Hill, which will be a good fight. I'd give it to Pereira, but Jamahal Hill, you know, has that one-punch knockout. You know, so you never know with those kind of fights. Obviously, Connor, UFC 300, hopefully, and I'll be doing a review of the upcoming Colby and Leon card, which is next month, which that's honestly should be card of the year on paper. You know, UFC, obviously, as I said, hasn't been that stacked, but that one looks good. And NRL Draw came out, just to switch subjects before we finish up. Obviously, just a quick episode, this one. So the NRL Draw came out. Dragons missing out on Magic Round, a big news. Obviously, the Vegas one, KO, if you want to send us, that'd be awesome. And then Tigers getting the bye round 1, which I'm a bit disappointed about because you kind of want those buys around Origin, but we're not going to have any Origin players anyway, so who cares? We suck. Maybe Appy, maybe Stefano if he pulls his finger out, but I doubt we're going to have any Origin players anyway. But I would like the bye a bit later on when we're a bit tired and, you know, have it after just before we play, you know, like a Penrith or something, which I think Manly got. So good for all you Manly fans there. Vegas, obviously, card. Magic Round. I'm going to try to get to Magic Round this year. I've got some friends in Brisbane. So comment if you're thinking about going to Magic Round as well. But yeah, obviously, Jerome, no big NRL signings, to be honest. There's been nothing in the transfer front. You know, I thought maybe, and it looks like Luai's going, but, you know, there's been nothing announced yet. So it's all quiet on that one. Origin got released. Game 1, New South Wales. Game 2, Melbourne, which is, I think they should just bring it back to New South Wales and Queensland, but I understand the money. I was listening to Bloke in a Bar and they were basically saying, don't do New Zealand. I actually don't mind the idea of in New Zealand. That's about as neutral as you can get. Usually Perth has more New South Wales fans and Adelaide looked even, and Melbourne usually has more Queensland fans. So I think New Zealand would be literally as neutral as you can get. Heaps of fans over there. If you did it like in Eden Park and packed it out, I reckon that would be fucking nuts. I think Luai's will leave Penrith in just a bit of transfer talk, but we'll see how it goes. Next month's UFC crazy. Make sure you buy it on KO behind a paywall, but you don't need KO to get it. So make sure you get it through them. The PPV, you know, great, never lags or anything. So fantastic. Yeah, we've got some guests coming up. We're going to be pretty busy coming up in December. December's a hectic month for everyone, so our content may not be as regular as what is used to, but we'll do our best. Obviously, give Crack Designs a follow on Insta. They'll be in the show notes. But yeah, that's basically it. Just wanted to run through a quick one. So thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. UFC 296 review will be out before the card coming up. And I go to Thailand next week. So if you have any Thailand suggestions, comment them or whatever. Thanks, guys.
Flex, check, flex, check, flex, check. Diamonds in my veins, flex, check, flex, check, flex.